I'm Jonathan Leath. I've been here at Chrome about 9 months now. Uh, so, quick um, background of me. I grew up around Calhoun County. I had a somewhat normal childhood for a while. That is until my parents got a divorce. And then in middle school, my mother passed. She ended up committing suicide while in middle school. So, I I kind of grew up from there. I had family kind of raising me necessarily, but I kind of grew up myself. Didn't really have much of a childhood. Kind of grew up kind of quick. Um, that kind of led into me wanting to be a cop. Actually, I strived to be a police officer since I was a little kid. Seen my mom, and my mom was in an addiction and stuff, and I wanted to get this drugs and stuff off the streets. I didn't want other families to have to struggle. So I ended up becoming a cop in September of 2017. Started my first job in Panama City Police Department. I did well, did very well for myself there. That was I did I was in a few major situations where um, I was in an officer-involved shooting, just different things like that. I ended up losing my job after the hurricane, and I got into sales and stuff. So I started doing general contract sales, making all kinds of money, and I really started venturing into different things. I tried coke for the first time. Um, Now I have money and the head knowledge, I guess you could say, to how to do this and not get caught. You know what I'm saying? So I'm spending money out of the world. I'm making all kinds of money, and also spending it just as fast as it's coming in. So um, I get a little bit of a party habit, I would say, and that lasts for a little while. I meet my wife, Kimberly. I meet her while in that stage, and we just kind of just hit it off well. We ended up having over the course of 6 years, we had four little girls, and then my first little girl, we had Lakeland was her name. I decided that I didn't want to do drugs anymore, that I was going to do what I needed to do and be the father I needed to be. And that lasted for a little while. I was in car sales, and I worked at Mariana PD for a little bit. And then I found out my wife was pregnant again with our second child. Whenever I found out about that, some reason it put me in a tailspin. I don't know why, but I did. I spun out of control. Started partying, leaving my wife, by herself at home, just doing everything, self-sabotaging myself, you know what I mean? So things just really got out of control. I lost every job I had at this point. I'm broke. I have another child. Just fast forward, we have our third child, and we have our third child full-blown in my addiction, and it's terrible. I hated life. I didn't care for anybody else's life. It was just terrible. I'm fully committed into my addiction at this point. Once again, I found myself out of the hole and become a cop once more. This time I just knew that it was over. I wasn't going to be an addict anymore. I had too much that I had to live for. Well, that worked for a while. Certain circumstances happened at work that I was trying to cover up. There's a lot of pain and stuff that I was dealing with that I just wasn't letting other people know. So I was trying to numb it, and found myself doing narcotics again. But it wasn't numbing it. I don't know what it was doing, honestly. But then I just fell head over heels for my new love, methamphetamines. And when it grabbed me hard. That is definitely Satan in a crystal form. So I go through that addiction. Not a cop anymore. I'm selling drugs, stealing from people. Just went from one extreme to the other. Not happy with myself. Just can't find where I belong in life. I'm missing something, you know what I mean? I get arrested in Calhoun County for some charges that I had here in Jackson. You think that would help? I found jailhouse religion for a little bit. I did fine for, I don't know, 6 months. And then back to it again I went. Ended up violating probation. My probation officer actually allowed me to go to Florida Springs rehab there in Panama City. I did my first 30 days of sobriety there, and found out I had a warrant for VOP, dirty urine. So I turned myself in June. Yeah, June 26, 2025. At this point, I've lost everything. I don't have custody of my children. I don't have my wife in my life. I don't have anything. All my family, I've burned all these bridges up to this point. I don't have any money. I don't have a vehicle. I don't have anything. And anything that I did have ended up getting stolen from me while I was in jail. So, you know what I mean? So while I was in Jackson County Jail, they put me in a cell to myself because of my past, who I was before as a police officer. They kind of just didn't want me to be in main population. In those 30 days, I didn't have time to do anything but think, sleep, eat, work out. And it got to the point where none of those things were doing anything for me. I'm still missing something. So I pick up a Bible and really open it up. And for the first time in 29 years, I start really understanding the words in the Bible. Not just reading it and, oh yeah, I read the Bible. No, I was understanding it, which was amazing to me. I was doing little Bible studies to myself, making sermons, just different things. Some people call it crazy at the time, but I was committed. I knew that, and I started feeling at this point that this is what's been missing. This whole time was the Lord was missing out of everything. Whenever I thought I had it all, I was at the top of the food chain, the top of the world, making money, had houses, vehicles, all the worldly things I could have, the wife, the children. There was something missing the whole time. And now I'm being sat down and the Lord's like, look, man, you need me. And I did. And that's when I fully submitted for the first time. I got baptized in the Jackson County Jail myself, a few other guys. Part of my conditions for release and stuff is to be here and finish out my probation here at Chrome. And since I've been here at Chrome, my life has really just turned around. The things that the Lord is doing, not only in my life, but other men's lives around me, is just an abundance. It's so much, it's unreal. And I'm glad that the Lord kind of taking the veil off of my face, my eyes, so that I can see, like actually see. I've had a couple of things restored to me since I've been here and submitted to the Lord. I'm in contact with almost all of my family now. All those bridges that I had burned, they're not so burned anymore. I'm repairing them. It's a slow process, and none of it's perfect still. I still have a lot to show, and that's just gonna take time. I did a lot of bad things in the last probably 6 years of my life that I have to make up for. But the Lord's restoring all of it. So whenever when I first got in here, I was fighting a child custody thing with the state. My little girl, the DCF people, everybody really that was involved in that on the state side was just telling me, that I could just hang it up. I was just buying time. I go to visitation and stuff. I was just buying time. But God said something different. So since being in here, I've gotten that relationship restored as well. My wife actually has full custody of our child. And I just have to finish my case plan while being in here, which is basic stuff. I mean, everybody needs to have, to sustain life, actually. A vehicle, a job, a home, stuff like that. But being here at Chrome, they're helping me with that here. I'm in transition now. I actually just went out and found a job, so I'll be starting work soon. So I'll be able to save, and while I'm here, I'll be able to save and get things together for my family. I keep saying my wife. I will say that I'm legally married. Me and my wife have separated. The Lord hasn't necessarily restored that, but I'm okay with that. I just know that I have to be the best father and role model for my little girl. So that's my day-to-day strive. With that, pretty much, that's it, man. So if you're going through an addiction of any sort, and even if it's not necessarily an addiction, if you're just struggling, you don't have a place to live, you don't know what you're missing in life, I want to encourage you to check out Chrome. This has been the best decision I've ever made in my life. Fully submitting myself to the Lord's will, His plan. There's so many people around me that love me. There's been some things that's happened to me since I've been here that just really wanted to make me want to quit. But the brotherhood that I have here, it's just unreal. I haven't found this anywhere else. But it's all because of God. God's doing all of this here. This is an awesome place. They feed you well. They house you, and they give you all your basic needs. Check out Chrome, man.